So, you've decided to dive into the world of Roblox development, huh? You open Roblox Studio, all excited, and then, bam! You're hit with this wall of tools, options, and buttons you've never seen before. You spend hours watching tutorials, hoping for that aha moment. But nothing. Frustration's kicking in, and you start thinking, is this really for me? Hold up. Before you throw in the towel, let me just say, this guide is exactly what you need. We're going to turn that confusion into confidence and get you on the fast track to creating your first Roblox game. All right, let's get started. First things first, we need to download Roblox Studio. Head over to roblox.com/create, click on Start Creating, and then hit Download Studio. Once the download is complete, go ahead and install it. Congratulations on taking the first step toward becoming a Roblox developer. Now let's open Roblox Studio. Before we jump headfirst into creating your first Roblox game, let's take a second to get familiar with the Roblox Studio startup page. And, just so you know, this is the latest version of the startup page, so if you've been checking out other tutorials or videos, and things look a little different, don't sweat it. Roblox just rolled out an update a few days ago, so we're working with all the new features here. Cool? Let's break it down and get you comfortable with what's in front of you. So when you open Roblox Studio, there are a few key sections on the left side where you can either check out games you've already made or start something new from scratch. If you're ready to dive into a fresh project, all you need to do is click that New File button and boom. It'll automatically set you up with a baseplate template to get started on your game. It's a quick and easy way to jump right into building without having to overthink the setup. Perfect for when you just want to start creating right away. So let's dive into the home section real quick. This is basically where you'll see all the places you've worked on before in Roblox Studio. You can also jump into creating something new by opening up different templates, which can be a solid starting point if you're not sure where to begin. Oh, and then there's the Discover Studio section. It's packed with tutorials, resources, and even documentation made by Roblox to help you level up your skills. Perfect for when you're like, wait, how do I do that again? Let's go to the Experiences section. It's divided into 4 key areas. First up is Experiences, where all your previous projects are stored, so you can easily pick up where you left off. Then there's Group Experiences, where you'll find any group projects you're part of that you can edit. Next, we've got Shared with Me, which lists all the places others have shared with you. Perfect for collaboration. And lastly, there's Local, where you can open Roblox places you've downloaded to your computer. Next up is the Templates section, where you can pick from a variety of pre-made templates to kickstart your project. For now, I'd suggest focusing on just the first 3 templates, since they're simple and don't contain any scripts that could overwhelm or confuse you. Lastly, there's the Archive section, which works kind of like a recycle bin in Roblox Studio. But don't worry, anything you move here isn't deleted. It's just hidden from your Home and Experiences sections, so you can always go back and restore something if you need it later. Now that you're familiar with the startup sections of Roblox Studio, it's time to jump in and create your very first Roblox game. Just click on New File button, and voila! You've just made your first game. You can stop watching now. Just kidding. But seriously, there's still so much more to learn about Roblox Studio. So, let's dive into the user interface and explore all the cool features that'll help you bring your game to life. Now, let's run through the controls you need to get familiar with in Roblox Studio. First off, to look around your current view, just hold down the right mouse button and move your mouse. Super simple, right? You can also use the W, A, S, and D keys on your keyboard to move the camera around, just like you would in the game itself. To zoom in and out, you can use your mouse scroll wheel to move the camera forward and backward. But wait, there's more. You might not know this, but there are 2 handy shortcut keys you can use. Pressing Q will move the camera down, while E will move it up. Personally, I don't use these shortcuts all the time, but it's definitely good to have them in your toolkit for when you need to adjust your view quickly. Let's take a look at the upper left corner of Roblox Studio, where you'll find the File button. When you click on it, a bunch of options pop up. First up are Save File and Save File As. Both of these options allow you to save your Roblox file directly to your device. Next, we have Save to Roblox, which saves your current changes to the Roblox place you're working on. However, keep in mind that those changes won't show up in the published version of the game just yet. Then there's Save to Roblox As, which works similarly, but allows you to save to other Roblox places you have access to. Publish to Roblox is similar to the Save to Roblox option, but here's the key difference. The changes you've made will actually reflect in the game once you publish it. Lastly, there's Publish to Roblox As, which functions the same way as Publish to Roblox, but gives you the added flexibility to publish to other Roblox places you have access to. Let's check out the Play button here, which comes with several options. When you click Play, the game will spawn you in the default way, placing you at a spawn location part to start your adventure. And here's a fun fact. If there isn't a spawn location part in the game, you'll spawn at the coordinates 0, 0. Pretty cool, right? Now let's get back to the video and keep the momentum going. Now, if you click Play here, you'll actually spawn at the current location of your camera in the game. Just a heads up though, it doesn't matter how high up you are, as long as you're above -500 on the y-axis. If you fall below that, the game will destroy anything that touches that area. Make sure you're in a safe spot before you hit that Play button. Now, as for the Run button, this option is used when you want to test the functions in your scripts without actually spawning your character. It's super useful because it lets you check the functionality of your code directly in the environment. For the Team Test button, it's a fascinating feature because it allows multiple people to test the game without even publishing it. Just keep in mind that both of you need to communicate beforehand, since the other person has to click the same button to join the testing session. It's a great way to collaborate and get feedback without going live. Last but not least, we've got the Start button. Now, if you don't have a teammate available to test with, no worries. You can use this to run the game. It basically creates two copies of your Roblox place. One acts as the server and the other as the client, so you can play and test your game at the same time. Back in the older version, you could actually specify how many clients to add, but I'm not really sure where that option is in this update. So, if you happen to know, drop a comment below. Your help would be super appreciated. Now let's move on to the Tools section here. First up is the Select tool. This handy tool lets you select a part so you can move it around by dragging it. Pretty straightforward, right? Next, we have the Move tool. This one allows you to move the selected part along the X, Y, and Z axes, giving you more control over its position. Then there's the Scale tool. With this tool, you can change the scale of the selected part along the X, Y, and Z axes, which is great for resizing objects to fit your design. Next is the Rotate tool. As the name suggests, this tool is used to rotate the selected part along the X, Y, and Z axes. It's super useful for getting that perfect angle. Finally, we have the Transform tool. This tool combines the Move, Scale, and Rotate functions into one. To be honest, it can get quite complicated to use, and I personally don't use it much because it can be harder to manage visually. But hey, it's there if you want to give it a shot. Let's move to the Snap to Grid section. Here, you'll find options for Move and Rotate. These are super useful for precisely positioning objects to specific numbers of studs and rotating them to certain degrees. I recommend setting the Move to 0.1 studs and the Rotate to 1 degree for better control over your adjustments. Let's check the rest of the Roblox user interface. We have the Asset Manager window, Toolbox window, Explorer window, Properties window, and the Output window at the bottom. If you can't see any of them because you accidentally closed them, no worries. You can find them in the Window tab. Just click on the items to show or hide them. Now you know exactly where to locate the different windows. Let's start with the Asset Manager window. Here, you can view the game ID along with the different places created within it. You can also see the images, meshes, packages, audio files, and models that have been uploaded to the game. Let's move to the Toolbox window, where you'll find 4 tabs, each offering different resources and assets to help in your game development. Let's start with the Creations tab. This is where you can view all the items you've created and uploaded to Roblox. You can also check out the different creations associated with any groups you're a part of. Next is the Recent tab. Here, you can see all the previous models, audio files, and decals you've used before. This is a handy feature for quickly accessing assets you've recently worked with, making it easier to reuse them in your projects. Let's check out the Inventory tab. Here, you can view all the different items you've purchased from the Creator Store. This is a great place to keep track of your assets and easily access them whenever you need them for your projects. Let's talk about the Creator Store tab. This is interesting because you've probably heard of free stuff, right? Well, you can find it here. As a new Roblox game developer, some of you might not have the skills to create your own game assets yet. And if you already have the skill to create your own asset, that's great. But if you're on the other side like me, that's totally okay. There's no shame in that. That's why free models exist. You can use them to get started. However, there's a downside. The models you use might not match the style of the rest of your game, but that's fine as long as you finish your project. Just a word of caution. When using free models on Roblox, not all of them are safe. Some may contain scripts with viruses or backdoors that can ruin your game. Please be careful when using free models, alright? It's always a good idea to check them thoroughly if they have an unusual script. Let's head over to the Explorer window, which is one of the most important parts of Roblox Studio. Each tab inside is called a service, playing a crucial role in your game. The Explorer window gives you a hierarchical view of all the objects and services in your game, making it easier to navigate and manage them. You can add, remove, or modify parts and scripts directly from here, so getting comfortable with the Explorer will really boost your game development skills. The key services you'll use most often include Workspace, where everything visible in your game is stored. Workspace is essential for organizing all the elements that players can interact with in your game, making it a crucial part of your development process. Next is Replicated Storage, which acts as a storage space for parts, module scripts, and events like remote events and bindable events. The great thing about replicated storage is that both the server and the client can access it. If you want me to dive deeper into events in Roblox, just let me know in the comments below. Next is Server Script Service, where you create and run your server scripts. This service is specifically designed for handling server-side logic, helping you keep your scripts organized and ensuring they run securely on the server. Next is Server Storage, which is similar to replicated storage, but with one key difference. Only the server can access it. This makes it perfect for storing items you don't want players to access, like important assets or sensitive data that should remain hidden from the client. Next is Starter GUI. This service is responsible for holding of all of the UI elements of the game. All of the contents of Starter GUI will be copied to the Player GUI when the player character spawns. Next is Starter Pack. This container automatically copies its contents into each player's backpack upon spawning. It's mainly used to store tools, but it can also hold local scripts to ensure each player gets a copy. So any tool you place in Starter Pack will be automatically given to players when they spawn. Next up is Starter Player. Inside, you'll find two important components: Starter Character Scripts and Starter Player Scripts. The difference is that Starter Player Scripts contain scripts that run once for each player when they first spawn, while Starter Character Scripts include scripts that run every time a player's character spawns. So if a player dies and respawns, the scripts in Starter Character Scripts will run again. Next, we have the Sound Service, which is the storage space for all the sounds in your game. Here, you can manage audio assets, making it easy to incorporate sound effects and music into your gameplay experience. Now, let's move on to the Properties window. This is one of the most important windows in Roblox Studio, as it lets you edit the properties of any object or service in your game. Now, let's move on to the Output window. Here, you'll find various messages that are super helpful for debugging errors in your code. It provides important feedback on your scripts, allowing you to identify issues and improve your game development process. That wraps up our intro to Roblox Studio. Before we end, I've got a little challenge for you. Head down to the comments and share your experience with making games in Roblox. You can also drop a tip or something you've learned to help out other newbies. If you've made it this far, you're awesome. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and consider subscribing. I'll be making more beginner-friendly videos soon, so stay tuned.